understand it while it's happening.
Well, it's just full circle because that's exactly how the dating videos took place. I ended up going out on a date with a white girl in St. Cloud.
Nice.
She was cool, and then the date was terrible. I had just a terrible time. She just was like running around, like not talking to me, running up my drink tab. She ended up just dipping on me, not saying bye or anything.
For real?
So so I was tight, and I went home. I was like, yo, I spent $60 on this bitch, and she didn't even say bye to me.
Yeah, she didn't even say. Damn,
and then the next day, I was like, have you ever dated in St. Cloud? And literally, that's how that video started.
Alrighty, well, here we are again, episode 17, ladies and gentlemen. We back. James, take it away, man.
Yes, sir. We back at it again. Another episode for y'all, episode 17. And this time we really have a special guest. You know, I would say this is our official guest, man. So we feel very appreciative that he's on our podcast. So we want to welcome Mr407Kevin. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me, yo. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Like you said, man, we appreciate you coming, man. You know, hey, you the Fresh Prince, like you said, man. You up and coming, man. So you popping right now, bro. So we appreciate it, man.
Just trying to put Kissimmee on the map, one whole video at a time.
Right, we gonna get into that, bro. Bro, that's funny, bro. That's them dating videos, bro. But yeah, man. So definitely welcome again. We do appreciate you. So for the audience, we're going to give a quick intro for you, for the audience out there, because we know who you are. So let them know what is it that you do exactly, bro? What do you what is it that you putting on Kissimmee on the map for?
Yeah. So my name is Kevin Dean. On social media, it's Mr407Kevin. But really, I just had this crazy surreal pop right now with these viral videos for dating in Central Florida. I make a series called Dating in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Where I talk about what it's like to date in each city, or what like some venues are like to date. And honestly, it just came from a really bad first date that I had with a girl.
Oh, really?
And I had no idea how relatable the material was. I was like, yo, do you want to date in St. Cloud? Well, this is what it's like. And then everybody who's ever been to St. Cloud was like, oh my God, this is so accurate.
Wow.
So yeah, but I was already making content before that. I do stand-up comedy for a living. So that was that was me. I was doing stand-up for a while. And then anytime I have anything that's on top of mind or topical, I try to make videos or sketches about it, reels. Right. And this video just took off. It just happened to be mad relatable.
Okay, so the dating is what went viral, right? Is that what really took off?
Yeah, I had a few viral moments before that, but like trying to find a niche in this oversaturated internet world is crazy.
Tell us about it.
I'm a pop culture fan, so I can talk pop culture all day.
Correct, yeah.
Weirdly enough, I love the show Arthur. You remember?
I'm telling you that, but on PBS show, bro.
On PBS Kids?
Yeah, PBS Kids. Every day when you're walking down the street. So I made I made a now a word from us kids video where I was just roasting those kids, like, what happened to them? Where are they all now? And those videos were going crazy on TikTok.
That's funny.
And I was like, oh, that's going to be my niche. I'm going to just talk about the Arthur videos.
Right.
And after like 5 or 6 of them, people were like, I ain't fucking with this no more.
Slow down.
It's crazy, right? It's like how they call it, the microwave. It's like,
it's the microwave era.
Now. Yeah.
It's quick. So yeah, I've had a few moments where I was like, all right, this is going to be my thing. I'm going to talk about the Flash and Green Arrow on the internet. And then the internet's not dealing with it. So this is the one where people were like, yes, we need more. Please talk about Tavares. Please talk about Altamont. And I was like, I have dated a couple girls in Altamont.
Right, might as well.
Yeah.
So what was the first dating one that went viral?
You know what? Before we get to that, though, let's take it back. Like, obviously, you're a comedian, right?
Sure.
So, like, when did you know this was like this was the field for you? Like, this is what you really wanted to do? Like, because obviously most comedians, when people do interview comedian, they ask them those type of questions like, when did you know, like, well, you were like a class clown?
Sure.
Or like, how did that all started for you? When did you know, like, this is my lane, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so I had always been a class clown.
Yeah.
I just grew up I grew up in St. Cloud, Florida, and I was one of the few black kids that were in my class. There was probably like 3 other black kids, and I probably didn't know what a Puerto Rican was until middle school.
Right.
So in my school, all of the other kids were going home and watching Pokemon and Batman and all these other kid shows. But in my house, we only had one TV, so we watched what my parents and my older sisters watched.
Okay. Right.
So I grew up watching Martin, watching the Jamie Foxx show, watching Fresh Prince. I just had like an affinity for sitcoms and black sitcoms in general. So my sense of humor, I think sometimes when I talk to kids now, I always try to gauge to see if anybody else thought like me as a kid. But I picked up on a lot of adult humor at a young age, and I understood why it was funny.
Right.
Which I think is not really the case with a lot of children. A lot of like the jokes are over people's heads.
Yeah.
Even when you watch cartoons, they have adult, mature content in there, but it's in there knowing that the kid is not going to get it. It's for the moms and dads.
Yeah, it's for the parents. Yeah.
And I would get those jokes, and I would be laughing in the theaters, and all the other kids looking at me like, "Why are you laughing about that?"
I don't get that.
Yeah. So just growing up around my parents, they didn't know anything of censorship. My mom is Guyanese, and my dad is from Barbados. So it's like first generation Americans, like in the
Caribbeans, man.
The Caribbeans, they don't care about censorship. They're not telling you.
They don't
know nothing about PG ratings. They're just like, you watch what we watch.
Exactly.
So I remember watching like Anaconda and Nightmare on Elm Street with my parents.
Me too, bro. Yeah.
So I say all this to say I would go to school and I would crack these jokes in class. Yeah. And I'd get in trouble all the time. Like the teachers would write like, Kevin makes inappropriate jokes in class.
I can see that.
Kevin is saying the word sex in first grade. Like he's giving problems. Yeah. But all the other kids thought I was funny, and that had just always been my MO from elementary school. And middle school, I was voted class clown. High school, I was voted funniest kid. And I just had impeccable timing. I would roast kids. We roast forever. And I loved watching stand-up. I watched stand-up my whole life, and I just never thought I could do it.
Okay.
And ultimately, I just had such like an affinity for stand-up comedians. I just thought it was such an impressive talent. Yeah. And I was like, nah, you need to start doing that when you're like 14, like Dave Chappelle. Like it's too late in the game for me. I don't know nothing about that. Yeah. And I became a server. Started working in restaurants, and I would make my tables laugh. I'd make my staff laugh. I would get out of reprimands for like just cracking jokes. Yeah. And eventually someone was like, yo, you need to be doing stand-up, bro. Why are you not doing stand-up? So inevitably I went to an open mic. I started trying to do it. I was terrible at it. I would bomb probably like my first 5 or 6 times that I went up there. Bomb, but still do well enough. I was likable. The crowd liked me. I got 1 or 2 big laughs, but for the most part, it's just awkward. I'm just rambling, much like I'm doing right now.
No, you good, man.
You good now, but they want to hear you.
They want to, you want to know the come up, the come up. Like how the whole process work and why you here now. Like as far as you mentioned Dave Chappelle. Is that your favorite stand-up comedian?
No, I think Dave Chappelle is the quintessential stand-up comedian. I think he's like everybody. If he's not your number 1, he's in your top 5. Right. Of course, he's an influence of mine. But my favorite comedian of all time is Eddie Murphy.
Hey man, let's go, Eddie Murphy, the GOAT.
Yes, sir. He only has 2 stand-up specials, but they're both iconic. They're both
raw and delirious, man.
Raw and delirious. Yeah. He's well dressed. I love a dude who goes on stage and he is a character. He's like the Michael Jackson of comedy.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah.
And you could see it in his leather outfits. You could see it in how like entertaining he is on stage. He does it all. He does impressions. He does topical humor. He talks about relationships. And that's why I want to be on stage. Yeah. And then I think the only person that's more influential than Eddie Murphy in my life would be Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker, set the tone for
that's
comedy.
That's my favorite Chris Rock stand-up special.
It changed my life. It changed how I saw comedy. It changed how I saw the world. I started talking to people about things that related to me. It made me realize what race was. Yeah. Right. And then later I became a huge Dane Cook fan. And I don't think there's a lot of black comics that would admit that or say that. But Dane Cook was... His storytelling ability is second to none.
It was. And I remember, bro, what was it? Because we were, like I said, we were all in the same age group. It was we was like in middle school. Or
Vicious Circle?
either middle school, it was like middle school time or just going into high school where Dean Cook had the game on lock, bro.
Yeah,
Like, he did
it all.
With that Burger King skit.
He was the first person to like take over social media. So he had MySpace on lock.
Yeah.
And then he had these YouTube sketches where he did the Kool-Aid Man,
yes,
Burger King, and then my favorite was the Atheist. Like,
I think I heard that one.
Yeah. But Dane Cook, we skipped school when I was in 8th grade, and all my friends, we had to wait till my friend's mom left the house. So we were like hanging out in the woods, and we saw her car pull off. Then we went in her house, and we just literally ordered like pizza, and we watched Dane Cook specials.
Yeah,
and I was not a fan of Dane Cook. I didn't know who he was. I was like, yo, turn this white dude off. And then I watched it. I was like, this is my future. This is who I'm going to be.
Exactly. Nah, he was funny, bro. He had the game on lock. I remember that Dean Cook era. You know?
Dane Cook,
And now they're like, he's not funny no more, whatever the case may be. That's like the ongoing joke now. So
he had the rise and
fell
fall
off or whatever. But I remember that era. It was big, man. It was big. That was a big era. I remember that. That was crazy.
Dane could do no wrong in my eyes. I just love how like outrageous he was, how much he exaggerated. And then the thing about storytelling is like with stand up, it's like about quick humor. You gotta have setups, you gotta have punchlines, you gotta keep people entertained. But Dane would just take you on these long stories.
Yeah, stories.
And a payoff would be so worth it.
Yeah, it would be really good. I remember that.
So how was it like growing up in St. Cloud, man? Because I've been to St. Cloud maybe like once or twice.
Okay.
And when I got there, I felt like I was living in it was like a different state. Like it was like, I'm like, what is this place?
Like, what is you check your pockets.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
it's
like, what's going on? It's just, it's like.
My experience is not going to be everybody else's experience because I grew up there. So, maybe I'm oblivious to it. You know, like when you're a part of the culture, a lot of it is second nature to you.
Right.
So I'm one of the first people to defend St. Cloud. I know that it has like redneckery or racist tendencies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Honestly, I've never.
I mean, when I went there, I saw the flags.
Yeah. So that is one of the things that is like oblivious to me. Like it's I grew up around it, so I don't think about it very much. And I have friends, I have family, like not family members, but I have friends and people's houses that I would go to, and the rebel flag would be there.
Right.
And they would be mad hospitable to me, like so nice, so cool. Like, oh, Kevin, you need anything? Can I get you anything? And you start talking to these people, and they really don't even believe it's racist. They just expunge the history out of
their head. Yeah, and it's gone.
It's out of sight, out of mind. But I will say, I never experienced any type of overt racism in St. Cloud. I never felt like I was in danger or that my life was threatened or that anybody like called me the N-word in school or nothing like that. But covert racism every day. So much so that it's like it's ingrained in who I am as a person. I talk about it every day in my stand-up, and it's something that's like those things that I just thought was like comical, or they would just be like, oh, you're not even black, Kevin. You're like the whitest black kid we know. And they like call me Oreo and shit like that. And I'm like, ha ha ha. Like it's very funny. It's very entertaining. But then as an adult, like as I got like more involved in my culture and learned more about like the activism aspect of it, I was like, oh shit, I've been indoctrinated to like to the bullshit. So no, but honestly, everybody is like, they love me in St. Cloud. Everybody's real nice to me. It's cool.
That's lit, yeah.
I'm very well received in every restaurant that I go there. But I'm maybe like their mascot. I don't know. I'm like a token nigga for them. It might be out of control.
No, because that's kind of relatable because I grew up in Portland, Oregon. Okay. And obviously I'm an immigrant. I came from, Haiti. I got to Portland when I was like 8 years old. And while I was there, I was probably, I know the school that I went to, I was probably like out of probably the only 2 black kids that were there. Yeah. So like, and I can relate to what you're saying because I never actually like experienced like unword racism. Yeah. Like I was.
It's not like what they make it seem like in the movies. Like you're gonna get there and they're gonna be like, we don't want you at our lunch table.
Exactly.
N-word.
I never.
It's not like that.
It's not. I never felt that. Like some of the kids I grew up with, even I'm still in contact with them till this day. Like some of my best friends were white. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I never actually experienced any type of racism.
And I never thought about race when I was a kid. I hung out with white kids. I hung out with Spanish kids. I hung out with Asian kids. But then I started realizing it when I started talking about it in my stand-up. people from my hometown would like reach out to me like, Kevin, why are all your jokes about race? Why are you always talking about race? I was like, yeah, you didn't live the same experience that I lived. You didn't have the same lifestyle. You didn't know what it was like for me in kindergarten, where I was like, I had a crush on Jennifer Scott, the cutest white girl in school. And some kid was like, you can't date her because you're black and she's white. That's against the law. And I literally believed that.
Yeah, you
for years. I heard it as truth. Yeah. I never fact checked it. I didn't have Google on my phone.
Not back then.
And that was the gospel to me when I was a kid.
Yeah, you don't realize, like you said, it becomes almost like second nature to you because it's there. You're living it, and it's just like, oh wow, well I guess this is the truth then, right? Since they're saying it, but that's not necessarily the case. Like I didn't realize either myself, and obviously I'm Spanish, so but it wasn't like I remember one time I was a kid. I went to a public park. And this white girl, this little white girl, and this is years ago. Kids can be cruel too. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, you can't play here. You're not white." And I was like,
"Oh shit!"
I ran to my dad so quick. I was like, "What the hell? What's going on, bro?" So you definitely don't understand it while it's happening.
Well, it's just full circle because that's exactly how the dating videos took place. I ended up going out on a date with a white girl in St. Cloud.
Nice.
She was cool, and then the date was terrible. I had just a terrible time. She just was like running around. Like not talking to me, running up my drink tab. She ended up just dipping on me, not saying bye or anything.
For real?
So so I was tight, and I went home. I was like, yo, I spent $60 on this bitch, and she didn't even say bye to me.
Yeah, she didn't even say. Damn,
and then the next day, I was like, have you ever dated in St. Cloud? And literally, that's how that video started.
So that was actually my next question to you. Like, how did like the whole origin started? So you explained it. So it was literally that day.
That was the first one. So the first video that I made was downtown Orlando, Kissimmee, Florida, and St. Cloud. Those are my 3 stomping grounds.
Okay.
If you're a hoe in Orlando, you go to downtown because when in Rome
himself.
When in Rome, do as the Romans.
Exactly, facts. That's when they all linger.
Yeah. So we, me and my friends, me and my hoe affiliates, we be diddy bopping sometimes downtown. We bar hop.
Diddy bopping. Hey, that's lit. Y'all don't know what that means. That's lit right there.
We be out there. We be outside, and then Kissimmee is my stopping ground. I've been hanging out in Kissimmee a lot more recently now that I've had this blow up. Orlando is a little too mainstream for me right now. Too many people recognize me.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, that's it.
Yeah, they be coming up to me. People literally have asked me to sign autographs, take pictures. Bro. I like it. It's cool.
That's lit.
One girl asked me to sign her titty. I was like, yo, this is the greatest moment of my life.
That's awesome, man. So speaking on the skits and stuff, like as I mentioned to you earlier when you first got here, there's one in particular, bro, that really was like, bro, and it's not. So it was the Poinciana one, right? But it's not the Poinciana part. You had got to, it was actually the Hunters Creek part.
Okay.
And you specified something that was so like on point. I was just like, bro, how does he know that?
Is it the do you want to date a bartender from Ale House?
That one.
Bro,
and then go to the tavern or go to the tavern and date
and it was so funny to me, bro, because like at the time, like bro, I used to go I used to work kind of on Hunters Creek side.
Yeah.
But I had like an office job, right? But we would go like Hunters Creek, me and my coworkers sometimes would chill.
Yeah.
Hunters Creek, like that Ale House, Hunters Creek and stuff.
Yeah.
And bro, it was legit like that. The ale house workers would go to the tavern, and then the tavern would go to the ale house. Yeah. And it was so funny. And I had a homegirl who her friends actually worked there.
Yeah.
And they would tell me, and I was like, bro, that is so specific. That was so funny.
It almost didn't make the cut because I always write like 5 or 6 jokes for each city, and then I go with whatever my favorite is. Mm-hmm. But I was like, nah, this is too niche. People are not going to know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that's the risk you run when you make these videos. Sometimes if you get too specific, or if you talk about a city not enough people know about, then you're like, oh man, people aren't going to resonate with this.
Right.
But the trade-off is the people who are from there who know, they love it.
Yeah.
And it paid off to my benefit because so many people from Hunters Creek were like, yes, this is so accurate.
Bro, when you said that, I was like, dog, how does he know that? I have to ask him, how did he know that? That was like so niche, like you said. And I was like, bro, where was your headspace when you said
the last video or the last city in the reel always has a bad shoe to wear because I want to make my videos 59 seconds every time. So if I have more jokes, but it goes to 1:01, they get cut.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know Hunters Creek. I know Sukihana. I know Jeremiah's is a great spot in Hunters Creek to take a girl on a date. I'm familiar with mojitos. Like, I'm outside. Like, I've done all of the John Young Hunters Creek spots. but they just didn't make the cut of the video. I ran out of time, so I was like, hopefully this is enough.
Yeah.
And it was. They loved it.
Bro, that one was so funny though. For
So
real.
like, did you knew when you made that video? Did you know that that was the one that was going to go viral, or it was just like, let me just post this out and see what happens?
Yeah, no. So the original one had started doing numbers because of downtown Orlando specifically. I was like, do you want to pay for parking, pay for cover, pay for drinks, only to find out that you can't score because she lives with her mom and you live too far away?
Yo, that was perfect.
And I didn't realize how relatable. So that video had like 100,000 views like in 24 hours. And I was like, oh snap. And then I was like, well, let me make a follow-up because I already said I was going to do part 2. So started talking about Poinciana because that's what I really want to talk shit about. I hate driving to Poinciana.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
That's just the worst.
Whoa, yeah.
Poinciana, BBL, and Hunters Creek were the next one on my hit list.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, well, this video might get a little bit of traction, but it's not going to do as well as Downtown Orlando. And then that video started surpassing Downtown Orlando. And then 10 videos later, by the time I was talking shit about Maitland and Mall of Millennia, I had a whole cultural following. It's like this whole cult following. So I just been really blessed. I've been happy. Shout out Central Florida for watching the videos.
Yeah, no, man, definitely. And shout out to you, man, because like, you know, you taking that like, you know, like you said, your experiences and all that and just making it into funny jokes that you said are relatable, which I'm sure you were like, okay, it's funny, but is it going to blow? And you didn't really expect how
I never expect these videos to blow. I just put it out on the internet. Really, as long as my friends enjoy it. I make these videos because I'm like, oh shit, my boy Mike is gonna know what I'm talking about. I'm doing like inside jokes for like my crew. Right. And then if somebody else likes it, cool. Like I'm expecting like 100 or 200 likes, but then when they start blowing up, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I always try to make comedy very broad. So like if somebody in Missouri or New York watch my video, they'll know what I'm talking about. Right. But I never thought about niching down and just talking about something that only my area could relate to. And it literally changed how I thought about comedy and how I did comedy.
And sometimes that's where you got to go too. Like, you know, like we started this podcast, on a whim. And then sometimes it's like, you want to go big, but sometimes if you just start with what you know, like your audience, know your audience.
It's a better thing to do. Yeah. And now I have people from like Calgary, Canada, and people in like Quebec. They're like, hey, I've never even been to St. Cloud. I've never been to Florida, but I just love your videos. Like these are mad funny. I don't know what you're talking about, but just your cadence and the jokes that you're making, it's funny, it's relatable no matter where you're at. And I was mad surprised. Like people from New York, like, yo, I gotta come down to Orlando
to test that out,
to see how accurate it is, because these videos are hilarious.
And truth be told, bro, I think that's what makes it what it is. It's the fact that even though it's specific to like Orlando or Kissimmee or wherever you're talking about, but people can just take that and just insert wherever they're from, and they're like, yo, if you did this on that, then it would be funny. So
hopefully I can start expanding with it. When I start doing comedy on the road, I want to be able to be like, hey, you ever been to Austin, Texas?
I was going to say, you got to start traveling, man.
Traveling and they start dating. I got to make sure I don't get wifed up, because then all these videos are going to be
jokes
done.
Are gone.
So, as you're being, viral, everything is going well for you right now. So what is like some of the craziest, I would say, DM have you gotten so far, or just some of the crazy experience as you go, as you come to Orlando and different parts of Central Florida?
So the DMs have been pretty mild. I get a lot of like DMs, but nobody's like talking crazy. I got a couple OnlyFans girls that are like, hey, you don't gotta pay for my subscription. Here's some things for free. They're all very flattered. I had
that must be nice.
It was nice, yeah. I had one girl from Tampa. I made a video about Tampa, and she was just like, oh, those aren't what all the girls in Tampa are like. If you come, I'm going to show you a good time. And then, they're like, they're spicy in the DMs or whatever. Right. But, I mean, for the most part, it's just like a lot of like appreciation and a lot of like dudes. Like, yo, hey, bro, you're so accurate. Talk about my town. Talk about my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. Shit on my girl, Brittany from Tavares Springs. I don't know Brittany, dog. What are you talking about? But the in-person has been really cool. Like, a lot of people have come to my shows as a result of it. Yeah. I think that it's really cool to have such a centralized fan base, because when some people go viral, their people are like in Kentucky or Michigan, and they can't really capitalize.
Go to your show,
Yeah, people will actually come out to my show or come out and like be like, yo, hey, I've been following you. I'm a huge fan, and it's cool. I did MegaCon, and a lot of people came out. And
nice. You were there? That's lit. Yeah.
I performed at MegaCon, and a lot of people came out and were like, yo, I'm a huge fan of Mr407Kevin comedy.
Right. Wow.
And then there was, of course, the white girls who wanted me to sign their titties. So
hey, let's go. That's lit, man. Yeah. So I wanted to actually go back to you brought up MegaCon in your shows. I actually wanted to ask you. So because you mentioned you got kind of bombed like your first 5 shows and stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of underselling it. It was like maybe my first 1,000 shows. I was like terrible for a while. So it's kind of like a 2-part question. So okay, first, what made you keep going? Yeah. First, and then second, what is your headspace when you're? Because let me tell you something, bro. My hat's off to you, bro. Because I would be terrified to be on. I mean, I ain't funny like you like that. But. So I tell people all the time, comedy or stand-up comedy specifically has very little to do with you actually being funny. Mm-hmm. Stand-up comedy is way more about how disciplined and how resilient you are. My headspace specifically was that I watched all of these other people get on stage and get laughs, and then I hung out with them in comedy tables outside, and I don't know if I just have this narcissism or this ego about me, but I was like, even though they're better than me, I know I'm funnier than them. Yeah. Whenever I'm around anybody, I'm always gauging their funny. Do you some gym dudes do this? They look at a dude and be like, all right, yo, that dude's in better shape than me. Or oh, yo, I probably could lift more than him. I'm doing that with funny. When I'm hanging out with people, if especially if I like you, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's got good social skills, but does he have good timing? Is he funny? Exactly. Is he funny because he's outrageous? Is he funny because he understands social cues? Right. Is he funny because he's got a lot of life experience? Mm-hmm. There's a million different reasons why you're funny. Exactly. I personally think that I'm much funnier in my natural life than I am on stage. And my thought process has always been, if I could just get an ounce of my real life to be exposed on that stage, nobody can compete with me. Right. And so even though I was bombing, I was just I'm just not myself enough yet. Yeah. I'm not comfortable. Yeah. I need to get more comfortable. And I always believed that I was funny. So I'm like, if I could just figure out how to be comfortable on stage, if I could just figure out how to be myself on stage, then I'll be funny. Yeah. And to this day, I'm still trying to figure it out, bro. I'm much better than I was 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. But it's always just another layer that I'm trying to peel off. Still trying to be myself. Exactly. Oh,
yeah. Man, your profession, I would say it's probably one of the hardest profession to do.
It's the hardest profession.
It's the hardest.
Alaskan crab fisherman. Y'all don't got shit on us. Comedy. I'm telling jokes to strangers on stage. You don't know nothing about hard coal miners.
Nah, man, I definitely give it up to you, man. It's not an easy profession. It's especially, and it's obviously, I follow a lot of comedians, and what you're saying is pretty much the same thing they've been through. You know, it's you got to keep grinding.
You got to go through the repetitions. No, if you don't have tough skin or you don't believe in this, I wouldn't recommend doing stand-up because nobody is good at it in the beginning. I think Dave Chappelle said that he was a killer the first time that he got on stage, and maybe it's true or maybe it's not. But I've watched a lot of bad people get good, and I've watched a lot of people who think they're good never get back on stage, because the thing is, a lot of stand-up comedians are weird. It's antisocial people. Yeah. They don't have good social cues. So that's where their comedy comes from, because they were already awkward people. Normal people like y'all, like myself, that were, I don't want to say popular in school, but got along well, or well-dressed, well-mannered, can talk to women. Those are the hardest people to do stand-up, because you have to put your ego to the side. You're used to being well put together all the time. You're used to looking good. If my shirt matches my shoes with my chain on, then, I feel confident. I got a nice shape up. I could talk to this girl. Right. But if you go on stage, you start to realize none of that matters. It's like you have 5 seconds to get this crowd's attention, and you better be witty and you better be comical.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you make somebody that you don't know? And everybody has different senses of humor.
Exactly.
So how do you make this old white woman laugh next to this young Hispanic woman next to this Asian man who doesn't speak English? How do you?
So how do you gauge that? How do you personally manage that? Like, because I saw some clips on your Instagram of
I'm hilarious. I'm hilarious.
So because the crowd is different.
The crowd is always different. So I'm just a people watcher. I'm an observer. So if before the show, I'm watching people and I'm looking at interactions.
So tell us about that thought process. Like, So
I was talking about watching the audience. I'm an observer of people. I want to see like who's already laughing, who's having a good time. Is there anything that's going to stand out? Is there anybody who looks like somebody that is general enough that the rest of the crowd is going to understand who I'm talking about? And as a host, I'm just going to get on stage and I'm just going to say, hey, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, you look like this, you look like that. Oh, how y'all doing tonight? Where are y'all from? Boom. And then depending on where I'm at in the show, other things are going to happen. So like another comedian's going to make a joke. Somebody else is going to do something that stood out to me, and I'm just going to call it back. And we just do that all the time. You just get better at it. Okay. And I talked about being myself on stage. I'm myself when I can just talk about the pop culture references that I know. Yeah. I know so much about Dragon Ball Z, Hey Arnold, The Simpsons, a Goofy movie. I could talk about Magic School Bus. Yeah. So all of these little things, just like y'all have, just like I have, it's like we all have this relatable zeitgeist in our head of like, oh, I've seen a redhead in a yellow dress. Oh, that's Miss Frizzle right there. If I see a redhead in a yellow dress in my show, I'm going to be like, hey, yo, I see your Magic School Bus parked in the parking lot. Boom, boom, boom. And it becomes easier, but you only are able to do that when you have the confidence that it's going to land. And you only have the confidence that it's going to land when you already have tried and true jokes in your back pocket.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of like time. I say all that to say it's time under pressure.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And managing it. Like you said, just landing the joke, like knowing when to say and then when to, you know what I mean? Like, punchline.
And it's really just crowd control. You gotta know how to control the audience. Yeah.
You get that a lot when you feel comfortable, bro. So I feel confident in what I do. Yeah. I know that my little 45 minutes of material that I came with is going to hit. So now I could play around for 15, 20 minutes of just like talking to y'all, interacting with y'all, because I'm like, even if this doesn't work, these jokes have worked 500 other times for me, from New York to Dallas to Orlando to Miami. So I know unless this is that one crowd that doesn't have any white people in it, which I haven't been to yet, these jokes are going to work.
Have you had any hecklers yet? That was my question.
Oh, yeah. I have hecklers at shows.
Like bad ones?
No, you know, it might be a good generation or a good time that like people have a lot of respect for stand-up, so they don't do it. More often than not, people are like embarrassed or shy. Like they don't want to be picked on. You'll see a lot of people not sit in front rows of comedy shows because there was a culture in the 90s and early 2000s, like Def Comedy Jam, where people were just like brutally making fun of the audience, and it was hilarious. That's not my MO. Like I want to talk about people in the crowd, and I want to be like, oh, yo, bro, you look like Jalen Hurts, or you look like. But I'm not trying to be like, hey, yo, bro, why you got 3 titties? Like, I'm not trying to like offend anybody at my show. So I think that there's not a lot of hecklers because people are afraid that you're going to clap on them.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes there are, but like, bro, this is not your 15 minutes of fame. This is my show. So I'm not even going to give you the attention. I'm going to clap back at you one time, and then I'm going to tell you to shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens, but more often than not, the crowd will turn against them before the comedian ever does.
Okay, nice. So that's good.
Now we do want to touch on some topics with you. We got some topics that we did picked out. But before we get there, like, what is the goal for Mr. Kevin 407? You know, like, you know, what's your 10-year goal? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now with comedy and, you know, everything else that, you know, that involves, you know, with entertainment? Like, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, so it's not really the money that I'm wanting. It's really more the respect that I'm wanting. I just want to be known as one of the greats, where they got to bring your boy up every debate.
There you go.
That's what's up, man.
I honestly, my ultimate goal is to sustain my lifestyle, whatever my lifestyle is, just on my passion.
Correct.
So if I'm just getting paid, my house, my car, bad bitches, my Jordan collection,
let's go.
PS5 games all the way down to PS2 games, all of that, if that could just be taken care of with comedy,
and you're content with
then
it,
I'm happy with life. Like I don't care about anything else. I just don't want to have to work for anybody else for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then if ultimately I could be brought up in the same vein as Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Dane Cook one day, I don't care if it's 10 years from now or 70 years from now. If they say Mr. 407 Kevin or Kevin Dean was one of the greats, then I feel good about that.
It's great, man. Yeah,
that's it.
It's a good way to put it, man.
Switch up to the topic.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
So Kevin, we got a question for you, man. We got some topics, so we're gonna
bring on the topics.
So let's start, man. So like, obviously, you said you've been outside. You outside, man. So that's why
all the way outside. I smell like outside.
That's why you're able to do what you do, and you're great at what you do. So like, a good question for you. My boy actually came out with this topic. So, would you ever date a little person? You know what I mean? And be more specific about little, like as far as height. What do you?
So legally, if you're under 4'11", you're considered a little person.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that's
midgets. You're talking about midgets.
I was being politically correct. Yeah, midgets. But
I talk to midgets. They're cool with it. I've spoken to midgets. They're okay with midgets. It was everybody else who had a problem with it.
Exactly.
So I'm mad conflicted. Can I be real with y'all?
Go ahead, man.
We just touched on that. We touched on it.
I'm 100%. I went to a strip club in Tampa and I got a lap dance from a little person.
Yo.
And I was hella conflicted the whole lap dance.
Which strip club was it?
It was Odyssey 2000. Odyssey 2000.
Oh, we've been there.
Okay, so y'all been outside too.
We've been there.
I smell it outside. Yeah, I got a lap dance, like a fully nude lap dance from this little person, and it was hot. And I was like, yo, okay, this is cool. But then in my mind, I'm like, yo, she's like the size of a 6-year-old. So I'm like, this is conflicting to me because why do I like this? Like, why? Like, all right, men are never gonna like in this whole like anti-pedophile culture. And let me just be clear, I do not like children at all. But why are you a fan? Why are you interested? Why there was many of tall girls in there?
Right.
Why didn't I get to dance with them?
Yeah.
But then if you have that thought process, then am I being prejudiced to this little person? She's not a child. She's a grown woman.
Exactly.
So it's conflicting to me. I don't have an answer yet. Would I date her if the ass is fat enough? Yes. I seen a couple of bad Latina little people. Yeah. They be walking with a little wobble. Hey, look, I don't even care who's looking crazy at us. Yo, if you little and you think Mr. 407 Kevin is cute, slide in my DMs. You might have a shot.
Hey, all I know is they be thick as hell.
Yo, why you so thick, yo? Thicker than cold peanut butter, yo.
You feel me?
The little spoon. I'll put my little spoon all up in that jiffy.
So what about you, Mr. Sway? What's up, man? What about you? Would you date a little person?
Listen, look, that's I mean, yeah, why not? Shit, why not? I mean, they're adults. You feel me? Like, hey, I can understand. You know, this is disrespect to them, but I can understand how visually it may look.
Yeah,
but these are grown adults. What you know what I mean? Like, you know,
the thing is, for a little person, I'm a titty nigga. My daddy was a titty nigga, so like, I need to know, and I feel like it'd be hard for a little person with gigantic titties to like have good back posture, and that's a make or break for me in a relationship. I need a girl with a good, strong back stance.
Right, yeah.
But back is important for me.
So you mentioned, because, bro, there's 2 of them on Instagram right now, right? There's a Brazilian one. I think her name is Valentina. Yo,
off mic, send me the app for that. I need to follow.
Say you Valentina, man.
Yeah, she's famous. She's Brazilian, bro. She is gorgeous. She looks like a Victoria's Secret, like Giselle Bundchen type. She's just 4'2". Yeah.
I have no problem with that. Yo, like, we're trying to stop the culture of women shaming men for being short. Why? Well, let's get on top of it. Let's get ahead of it, and we need to start dating these short queens.
You feel me? Hey, you start the movement then?
I'm trying to start the movement, man. I'm trying to start the midget movement 2023.
Hey, y'all heard it here first. It started in here in Orlando.
What's up?
It started here in Orlando first.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Jameson, you 6'2", man. What's up?
I'm sorry, bro. I can't, bro. I need athletes in my family. So
Oh, you be thinking about procreation?
Yeah.
I ain't never trying to have kids. I'd rather have leprosy than have a child.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm trying to live my truth for the rest of my days.
Hey, see, look, you still be getting on me about kids because I don't got kids.
Yo,
So.
Kids is nasty work. You got kids?
I got a kid.
Hey, I love that for y'all. If you like it, I love it. But it couldn't be me, bro. I couldn't do it. I just think about it. All right, so Aziz Ansari, famous stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I know,
He had a great show on Netflix called Masters of None, and he said something that resonated with me all these years ago. He was like, if I just want to get a chicken parmesan from a little New York's bodega at 2 a.m, and I have a child, I have to find a babysitter for that child. I have to find somebody to look after that child.
That's my point.
I want to be able to just get up and go at any time. I don't ever want to have to like. And also, if you could do all of the right things, read all of the right books, raise the child to be the best possible person in the world, and that kid could still end up being a Jeffrey Dahmer serial killer.
I mean, it's
I can't be having no serial killers on my house, bro. Like,
that's a great point. It's a great point, man. But
crazy, bro.
I mean, you guys are not fathers, so you guys can't really relate. But I can say, from my perspective, man, being a dad is the greatest thing in the world.
And I hear that. Man. I hear the first time that you hold your child in your arms, there's no greater moment. You finally realize your purpose. You never loved anything as much as you love this.
It's a fact.
I truly believe that. Yeah. That's why I never want that to happen. I don't ever want to be put in a situation where I love something more than I love myself.
Isn't that crazy, right? When you put it into perspective, like, so me, I mean, I do want kids one day eventually. I don't
disgusting.
But it's like, bro, like I just not, bro. I got at least with my 7 years.
I only want to have a kid when I'm financially stable enough that I could spend enough time with my child.
Yeah.
And I can't see a world where I'm not working. Like, eventually, that kid will have to stay with a nanny or a babysitter or a school or all these other things. And then they're just learning from the world. They're getting all of this outside perspective and culture that me and my wife or significant other might not, that might not be our ideologies. Yeah. So I just think there's just so much like terrible shit in the world to like raise kids in this society. But if you like it, I love it.
So before we segue out of that, so it's good. So what's your take on Nick Cannon and all his baby mamas? And
I love that for him. I love that for him. I think so Nick Cannon does have the residual income to raise all these kids, but he doesn't have enough time. And it's not like they're in a convent. All of these kids are in different households. Yeah. So I just don't think you could be the type of father to all of these kids that you need them.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
You can have them live in lavish, and that's great. Yeah. I also think these are the type of conversations I can never talk about around women because it's also conflicting for me because I want women to like me. So I don't want to say things around them that's going to make them be like, this
you know what's coming next, right? Well, girl, he don't like kids.
So
he don't want no kids, girl.
So they're automatically less interested in me. But if I could be real, like all of my stuff is coming from a place of logic. I'm not like trying to be malicious with the fact that I don't have kids. I just don't think that I'm a good enough human being to father a child.
Nah, you know what? And that's real. And honestly, like I wish a lot of people would realize that.
There's so much trash kids. Yo, I shouldn't. It's crazy that you have to have a license to wash dogs, but you don't have to have any type of procedures or licenses in order to raise a child. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, anybody can have a kid, and that's the crazy part, bro.
I just feel like there should be an age requirement. Like if you have to be a certain age to be the president, dog, I feel like you need to at least be 35 before thinking about having a kid. Yo, I just figured out recently how to use bleach on my laundry, so like I can't raise no kid.
I feel you, bro. That's is a big responsibility, bro. Like you legit in charge of someone's life, essentially. So it's like, bro, man, I'm cool on them. I'm gonna wait on that.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I like I said, I have a child, but I personally would not tell, have a kid. I would never tell anyone to go have a kid. Now, if you want one, just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into.
It's the world's most responsibility. I just think that there are. I can even have my own podcast because I don't think I'm responsible enough to show up to my podcast every week. Yeah. So to have a child and be like, all right, we got little league practice at 3, we got spaghetti at 4. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of your mom enough.
I ain't got time. It's like if I want to pull out the Crown Royal at like 2 in the afternoon, I'm going to do it. Which I'm going to
do.
I can't now, bro. You tell me I got to watch Timmy, bro. Timmy, go to the room, bro. I'm for the drink.
Bro, and it's tough. Like relationships are already such a hard, like fragile thing. It could be that it's not even that you're cheating or you're talking to anybody else. You're just working on your passion, and you just haven't taken your lady out on a date.
Right.
You haven't taken her and don't move for a couple of weeks, and now she's starting to feel neglected. Now you throw a child on top of that. Like I can't even get my relationship right. And but you know what? I digress. If you love kids, I love kids.
Yeah. Now, speaking of relationship,
well,
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to.
Yeah.
It's because you brought up Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
And we definitely talk about this a bunch of. But I actually, there's a conspiracy theory I just heard about that whole thing and why he's having kids. Did you hear about it?
No.
Is it because he's sick?
Well, apparently, the conspiracy theory.
We spoke about that before, yeah.
We did? We touched on it?
I did mention it was
because of the placenta?
probably because of...
the placenta, he's using it to heal?
He's sick. He's using all the placentas to, like, keep him alive longer.
Oh, wow. I just heard that he was, like, he's trying to have more of the next generation.
That's what I was told.
Long he's gonna be
he
here.
doesn't know how long he's going to be here, which is
whatever his reasons are.
I mean,
that's up to him.
That's all. He's
I'm a personal fan of Nick Cannon, so there's I don't want to say conspiracy, but there's like a running joke amongst like comedians in my circle and the community who knows me.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, Kevin is cool. Everybody like likes him and like all these people are following him, but he's corny. Yeah. Like if you know me at all, you're like, yo, this is a corny ass nigga.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of cool, corny people.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool, corny people, and I created like a list of like these cool, corny dudes who are snipers, like the kind of dudes who get women.
So you got Nick Cannon number one.
Yeah, Nick Cannon is a corny dude. Drake is another corny dude. He's like these people are cool.
Bow
Wow is a corny. Ray J is a cool but corny dude. Joe Budden is a cool but corny dude. A lot of these Michael B. Jordan, cool as hell.
Corny. We talk about that, yo.
There's a lot of cool, corny niggas out there, and I'm in that category, so I'm like, I gotta lean into it. I gotta support my brother Nick Cannon.
I never got that either. Like, I mean, I guess he could be corny in a way, but I'm like, bro, Nick Cannon always been bagging bitches. Like,
he's a sniper. He's been with some of the baddest in the game. Mariah Carey, Christina Milian, like, yo, Nick Cannon. The Wild 'N Out girls, he bags them.
Yeah, of course.
But he's corny. Yeah, Nick Cannon is very corny.
Exactly.
That's like me.
Hey, it works. Whatever works, right? Whatever works. Thanks. What was that? What was
I was gonna say because we were touching on relationships. So I was going to ask him, like, you know, in a relationship, or even if you're just dating, like, do you care about like body count on a woman? Is that something that you ask him, or
somebody
looking at me?
You just go with the flow?
Jesse, is there any way I can get a crown around?
We got Mrs. Producer in the building today.
Thanks. I don't need nothing else. I just need the crown on ice.
It should be in the...
You're so sweet. Body count.
Yeah, so do you have a limit, and what is too high, or do you think?
So I believe in destroying hypocrisy. Okay. And my body count is so high that
Let's go.
My body count is so ridiculous that I'm not proud of it. This is not a brag thing.
Yeah.
I stopped asking women their body count when I was 21 because I don't ever want the conversation to come up to me.
Yeah.
So what I do is when I feel that conversation is coming up, I change the subject.
Switch it up.
And they'd be like, "Oh, so how many?" I'm like, "Yo, so what do you think about Mike Tyson and Robin Givens back in the day? That was a crazy relationship, was it not?"
Fact.
I'll be like, "Yeah, so have you ever read the 4 Agreements? Because I just feel like taking things personally and assuming is just a better way to not live. Because I don't do that body count. I don't ask girls. I think it's crazy to ask girls because what is that doing for you? Like, if you find out that you've been with 3 people or 13 people, like, how does that affect you at all?" And then Chris Rock, who is a huge influence in my life, he was like, here's an old joke. He was like, "You don't want to know. No matter what she tells you, it's too much for you.
Exactly.
She could go 2. You'd be like, 2? Oh, God, 2?
That's true, yeah.
I guess that's how you was raised.
Yeah, you never really know.
It's too much. Yeah. So, no. My body count is outrageous. I don't care about a girl's body count. Like,
hey, that's lit.
At all. As long as you walk into the relationship STD free, then, like,
hey, right? Exactly. Like, facts. No, for real. Well, you want to answer so you want to answer that?
I would say, man, it's
you got deal breakers?
It's a fine line when it comes to that, you know? Like, that's right there, bro. Yeah. I really don't care about the body count to a certain extent, but I do. Because it's like if I'm talking to a girl and you know, I see
Nah,
myself,
see that you do what you know.
and I see myself being with her,
Yeah.
and that topic of discussion does come up. And if I ask her, like, yo, so how many guys you been with, you know?
Crazy. That's
And
already nuts.
I know.
Why are you doing that?
But if that comes up, though.
How is it coming up?
It come up.
Hey, so do you want the super salad? Yeah, how many niggas you fuck?
And she said, like, I don't know, anywhere between 60 to 75. Then
Whoa. That's a problem for me. That's why I'm never asking. Don't ask questions you don't want to know.
You feel
You
me?
don't want to know that.
So if she's saying, like, then I start, like, so how old are you?
Start doing the math. You start figuring out how many per year.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all a quick question on this topic.
Go ahead.
How many is considered ran through? How many people does a girl have to be with before she's like, oh yeah, that girl is ran through?
No, I'm gonna be real.
Go ahead.
If you over 5,
Over 5?
that's a problem.
Y'all the problem with the culture.
That's him.
Over 5, how old
Over
is she?
5?
Yeah, the age.
What's the age?
16?
I mean, but like,
Right.
man, that's over 5 is a problem. Bro.
Over 5?
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Anything
So,
over
I know girls who've been with 5 dudes at one time.
That's a problem.
That's ran through?
Crazy, bro. Yeah, bro. That's crazy. No, that's a problem.
Hey, one time Drake said in Marvin's room, he said, I had sex 4 times this week. I'll explain.
Yeah.
And then that's been my lifestyle ever since.
Facts,
Yeah, so I mean, you do the math.
Nah,
So if you met a 30-year-old woman right now, she told you she had 5 different sex partners.
She's been with 6 people.
6 people. That would be a problem for you?
I mean, like, not necessarily a problem.
But you'd be like, oh, damn, you've lived.
Well, okay, she's 30. I'm like, okay, that's normal. That sounds normal.
Yeah, so yeah, ran through.
But then
Ran through is
anything
like,
after that, and she's like, hey, let's say, what if she's like 40 and then now she's at like 20?
nah, y'all sound crazy.
Nah, bro.
Bro,
But what you mean? Nah, bro.
I imagine my girl has been with 13 to 25 people in a lifetime. If she's around the same age as me, I'm assuming that she had a wild college phase. She had a crazy ex-boyfriend that she had to get over.
Yeah.
And she just had like a wild hoe phase that she got all out of her system. She smashed 7 dudes in the summer. Didn't make her feel better. She didn't like who she was. She cut her hair off. She dyed her hair.
Yeah, she went through
Every
it.
girl's been through that phase.
You know,
Yeah.
she dyed red, boy. That's all.
She dyed it. She went to church. She found religion again, and then now she's a good girl, nigga. But yeah, she's still gonna have those on her body count, 13 to 25.
Yeah, that's a fact.
If a woman has been with like 30 dudes, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. You had a summer in Amsterdam. Like you traveled a lot.
You
Like,
was out there.
oh, okay.
Summer Amsterdam.
You drink. Like
in Ibiza.
sometimes there are these girls who are like just bar girls, and they just bar hop. And sometimes, you know, that, hey, I'm single and I went home with different guys, but that doesn't mean that's your lifestyle for life.
The tavern girls.
Mhm.
You could have a tavern girl, you could have a downtown girl. I really don't care what your body count is, and it's not affecting me. I don't want to hear about you being with 50 or more dudes, because now I'm insecure. I'm like, yo, there's nothing that my dick is doing.
Shit,
You have to
I
see
ain't
before.
special. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's only 13 different types of dudes that smash.
Right.
And if you've been with all 13 different types of dudes,
Exactly. Yeah.
then what am I doing that's special? I'll be honest with my dick. My dick is, you know, I'm 70.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. I do the same 4 or 5 motions. I do missionary, I do cowgirl, I do reverse cowgirl, I do doggy style, I do bionic seahorse, and I get out of there.
That's it.
That's
You out of there.
And I flip and repeat.
That's
You
it.
flip and repeat.
That's it.
I'm known for my stamina and my endurance.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been gym season for me. I'm out of shape.
You know
So,
what I mean?
you know, it's not a good time
Yeah.
in life for women to smash me for the first
Yeah.
time.
I mean, we do got a woman in the room, so like, if you wanna, like, if you
I
wanna come
apologize to
on,
all women.
and then you know, what's your take, like, as far as body counts? Do you want to say anything?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
You want to chime in?
yeah. Do you care about that? You want to chime in? You're like, come on.
I would say that I would actually judge a man.
Come sit.
Okay, I'll sit down.
You need the lady's perspective.
Slide
It's
in
a
here.
quick little perspective. Let's see what you got.
Oh. Let me just hear myself.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, for me, a body count on a guy,
Does it matter?
I wouldn't say that it doesn't matter, but like you said, I don't want it to be over like 30 or 40 or 50 women, but I think it's pretty. Why are you looking at him? You're like,
No. I'm just making general.
you're like, they're trying to see if you actually did 30 to try to figure out.
Nah. For me, my number is way over 30, but that's why I don't have these conversations. Yeah. I understand if I truly saw a girl that I was gonna be in a relationship with and it wasn't a smash, my number would be a huge deal breaker. So let's just avoid that conversation.
But I also do understand that men go through a stage where they feel like they have to prove themselves, and they feel like the more girls that I can actually get in bed with me, that makes me the man.
That is literally my whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's how I live.
Most women are raised the opposite. Yeah. So it's a different, I could understand where you would get in that phase. Now, if you're at a certain age group and that's still appealing to you and you're still excited over the fact that you could smash.
Yeah, if you're like 35 and you're doing that, it's weird. But if you're 31, it's okay.
No. 4 years.
Come on.
You still got a few, bro.
Yeah. No, 35 and you doing that, grow up, nigga. That's nasty work.
After a certain age, it's very embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what other goals in life do you have?
Yeah, no, but what if you have that other goals? Like you're striving to be a stand-up comedian, you have a viral.
Okay. So what if you're you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care how any man lived in life that I'm not dealing with.
Sure.
I don't really judge anyone as far as what they're doing for themselves. Unless it's a man that I'm dealing with and I have expectations, then that's different. That's the only person that I can hold accountable.
I like that on paper, but I hate that in practicality.
There you go.
Because every single girl has that thought process, but every single girl has a female best friend that they're talking shit to about me. Like, hey, yo, do you really want to be with a dude like that? You know, I heard on a podcast, he fucked like 116 bitches.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so every girl's like, I don't care. I'm like, it's not my business until you start talking to Jessica and Kelly and being like, hey, yo, that ain't it. I'm judging you if you date him.
Well, that definitely makes sense because I would definitely be like, girl, are you seriously going to deal with that type of dude?
That's a problem for me.
It doesn't necessarily.
Why are you cock blocking me? Why are you hypothetically cock blocking me?
Well, you know, obviously.
Speak into good things about me. Tell them the nice things about me.
Well, this is what now you have to do, and which you're pretty good at. You win the friend over. You're like, you know what? He's an asshole. He's fucked so many girls. He's a whore around town, but he's actually really funny. Something I would never say because.
He's a really nice guy.
It's funny, but if you're okay with probably getting an STD out of it, then
see, that's a terrible narrative that if you smash a lot of people that you have STD, because you could smash 2 people and walk away with HIV.
But your odds are higher. And wait, do you always you're a proud get arounder. It's something that you hold in, you know, you're not you don't care about it.
That's my ringtone.
I get around.
You don't care about it. So, do you always use condom every time you have sex with someone?
Oh, damn, we getting personal. I try. All right. If I don't know her, if we're not in a relationship, yes, I'm strapping up. As soon as it's also an ego boost. Just like smashing a lot of girls, like makes you feel good. Like knowing a girl will let you smash raw is also kind of like.
Is it an ego?
That is. It's like
it's like you let me do this to you. Wow, that's crazy. You must really love me.
It doesn't come in your head that so that means you're allowing other people to do this to you. So it doesn't really hold much value.
No, I believe in my mind the narcissism in me. I'm that nigga. I'm that nigga. I can't believe you let me and only ever me do this.
So you'll take an ego boost from wherever you can get it.
Yo, if you guys all told me that I was the funniest nigga right now, that would be payment and penance enough for me.
You're pretty funny, so I'm looking for ego. I'll give you what you need at this moment. Whatever it does for you.
This is what I came here for. Yeah, I'm gonna go home and think about this.
There you go. So, what'd you say? In to end it, what is 50 your limit for a guy? Is that a limit?
No, I actually don't have a number. No? Just don't come to me with any type of disease.
So you just rather not hear about it then?
Yeah, we have to get tested.
I get tested and I'm safe.
Forward. Well, you know what also does for me, as far as the number is concerned, it shows me your obsession with sex in a way.
Yeah.
How much
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's my whole lifestyle.
If you spend, because it takes a lot in order to get a girl from saying hi to get in bed, and not necessarily every girl, but there's a process to it.
Yeah.
So it brings me to the point where it's kind of like, well, you're probably putting a lot of energy and time into getting those. Yeah.
Well, also my lifestyle is about how can I how much middleman can I cut in that? So, and as a young man, it took me a lot. I would have to court her, text her all day, text her for weeks, finally plan a date, go on a date, go on a second date, maybe smash, maybe be funny.
So do that, and then you're
obviously you understand expertise, 10,000 hours in doing the same thing over time makes you very good at it. So I've become very efficient. If it takes me more than one evening, it's actually already a bust to me. It's already like, this person is wasting my time.
If it takes more than one evening. So now you're just trying to get to the point. So
if I'm just trying to smash. Sometimes I'm like, yo, this is a beautiful girl with a beautiful mind. She has beautiful tenants. Oh my God, I could see her being the mother of my
non-child.
Child is never going to exist.
The hypothetical child that I would have.
Yeah, I could see myself wasting her time for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Exclusively. Then I'll let it go on a little bit longer. But there's an ancient Chinese proverb that I learned. Yeah, I maybe
we get
ancient Chinese proverb. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, "A key that can open any lock is a valuable key, but a lock that is open
by any key is not.
It's a useless lock."
Fact.
Yeah. So I've really just taken it upon myself. So you look at
your private as a key.
No, I look at my whole body. My whole body is a key.
So what you consider unlocking is a woman giving you access to her body?
That might be one of the ways. If she could show me something spiritually or mentally that gave me the same satisfaction, I would also take that.
So you don't
I just don't think that most women see value in themselves outside of their box. So whatever you can give me that shows me your value in me, I'll take that. Spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, but mostly it's physical.
So Kevin, do you watch basketball?
No, I think that watching sports is really gay.
No?
You said what? Say that again.
I think watching all sports where men wear matching costumes, tight costumes specifically, and other men just watch them from the stands and cheer for them is a very homosexual act. I have no problem with homosexual acts. I'm a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, but I just think that all of these heterosexual males who gather on Sundays to watch football and men tackle each other and be really aggressive is just very homosexual. And it's just not something for my lifestyle that I can be living.
I just think it's boring, honestly. I think it's boring.
It's crazy.
That's my take.
Like best case scenario is boring. Worst case scenario is it's very homoerotic.
Have you ever been to a sport event?
I just watched I watched the Hawks and the Magic play recently. Like I support LGBT events all the time. I went to a drag show recently too. So like, I'm not like, make this clear. I have no problem with homosexuality, but just like call it what it is. Like this dude is hiking a ball from another man's ass, and then he's tackling him and getting rough, and other people are getting mad about it. Oh my God, what? He did that? What? Like, yeah, dog. Like, yo, you're a little erect right now. This is weird for me.
James, you're a sports guy, man. What's your take on that, bro?
I grew up playing basketball. I played soccer, and I've never.
Soccer's no contact, so I feel like that might be one of the least gay sports.
I've never.
But you're kicking balls, bro. So I don't know.
You know,
right?
So, little gay.
I've never done that.
James feels some type of way right now. You're the sports guy.
Love it for all y'all. All of my boys play sports.
Yeah.
Growing up, I didn't ever. I think.
What is it because you're not good at sports?
That has a lot to do with it.
That's why
100% has a lot to do with it. My parents were Caribbean, and when they moved to the country, they were super afraid of everything. They just had a fear mindset. My mom watched the news, and she would see all of these coaches were touching kids, and she was like, "No, I'm not gonna put you on football or soccer or anything because I don't want you to get molested." So when I was in high school, my mom was like, "How come you don't play no sports? I want to go to your events." I'm like, because all these kids have been playing since they were 4 years old. I'm terrible at this shit. So now it's gay for me.
Hey, I know what I'm good at. Sports ain't one of them.
I knew there was a deeper meaning behind it.
But you could look at sports and see this is very homocentric. This is very homocentric. Why are all of these men wearing matching costumes right now? Why are they all dressed the same? Why are they all being extra like aggressive and physical with each other? Hockey is hella gay, dog. These niggas are like roughing each other up, dog. It's like a take you down video in there. I thought I was watching
emotions.
Genuine Pony. It's nasty.
For real. The emotions and shit.
I'm here for it though. If you like it, I love it.
Fuck with sports, man.
That's like,
it's
that's not like take. Bless your heart.
Mm-hmm. Sports all day. I mean, it's one of those things that bring everyone together, right?
Sure,
bring everyone together.
I do watch sports. I watch sports with my boys. I'll get together. I have wings. If y'all were like, hey yo, we all throwing on the game. We got some beers. We got some wings. We got some women.
Yeah.
I love a sporting event, bro. I love tailgating at an event. I'm going to a baseball game.
All the M-House dates you had.
Pretty sure.
Well, I've sat in front of a TV, but like I just do not care about them. And like I think it's really weird to like men know all of these personal stats about these dudes. They're like, yo, this is LeBron James. He lives here. His son does this.
That's me.
Like, why do you know so much about another man, bro? Why? What's up with you, bro?
I'll tell you, bro. I never got into it. I'm like, man.
But I think it's cool for other people. I think most dudes watch sports. I'm
majority of us do.
Yeah, dudes like sports. Very gay, but it's cool. If you like it, that's cool.
And you guys are like the 5% that don't.
Yeah, no, I know I'm a part of the minority. That's why I'm trying to shift the culture. I'm trying to shift the narrative.
Right, we got to switch it up, man.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the fight last night?
I actually did. I did watch it.
I was going to watch it, and then I saw how gay it was. Like, look at these things. They don't got no clothes on. These niggas is shorts.
Booty shorts.
You ever seen the boxers where they start getting tired, they start resting on each other, and then like kind of just like swinging in the back?
That's like too much.
I've had mad fights with my lady the same way, dog. We just like tired, like rubbing up on each other. Like, yeah, dog, this is very intimate.
Clenching each other, like rest my head on your shoulder.
So intimate.
I need to breathe.
Yeah, nah. Good for you. Good for them, though.
I find feminine stuff and things, and I'm just like, this seems a little bit feminine.
Yeah, it's like this is very girl. I seen that they have like football where they got like the girls in like lingerie and stuff.
So you like that, don't you?
I don't, because it's like, what is that saying about male sports? You're basically saying that this is the equivalent.
Right.
If like for women, for men, if we're gonna enjoy this, we need to put them in lingerie. But you're literally watching dudes do the same thing. They just have more clothes on. Like, why is that? Why is this erotic for you? But this is not. This is uncomfortable.
Why is this erotic?
I want to be an ally or supporter of women's sports. Like, I want to be a supporter of the WNBA.
Yep. Shout out to the WNBA.
Boring as shit.
Yeah.
Boring.
So boring. But there was games recently that everybody was into, right?
Yeah.
Like, I keep involved in the culture. I know like what's going on, but I just don't have like I'm a person that needs plot in something that I'm watching, and I need a storyline, and I like watching sports for the highlights. Like, I'll watch like a first take and I'll watch the highlight to what's going on. But to sit through and watch a whole event of sports, I'm like, there's not enough ass or titties out here for me.
Facts.
So much of my lifestyle is just about that. That's exclusively.
So let's end it on here.
End it on that note.
No, because obviously.
Oh, you mean that
was no. Obviously, you was a class clown, which is not bad,
Sure.
A lot of, any situations that happened to you while you was in school? Because I think one of the topics you wanted to touch on, I guess there was a fight that happened with a substitute teacher.
Yeah, did you see that video where the student fought for the substitute teacher because she took her phone away?
Oh no, I didn't see that. I was actually a substitute teacher for a little while.
Oh, you were?
I was a teacher in my 20s.
Nice.
And I had a good rapport with my students. I worked at a charter school, so I was exclusively there, and their teachers would call in or be on like maternity leave so often that I was at the school every day. I had a full-time position.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I knew all the kids, and I taught from kindergarten to 9th grade.
Oh, jeez.
And kindergartners are like terrible. They're just like tattletales. They're telling their best friend and shit. Like,
right.
And then the middle schoolers and the high schoolers were really cool. Like, we were bros. Like, some of them follow me like on social media now. They're like, oh my god, you were our teacher. Yeah.
Yo, you funny, bro.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I just had I had a really good experience when I was in school, and I had a good experience being on the other side of the desk. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, bro, honestly, I don't think there's ever a place to put your hands on an administrator or a teacher. I think they're underpaid and they have a really hard job as it is. Yeah. So,
well, you never saw the video, right, James?
I never. All
right, so let me give it quick since we didn't see it, bro. So, anyways, this student, which I'm gonna put out, it was a big girl, like
those girls.
And that bitch was brolic as fuck. But the teacher told her to put her phone away. She took her phone. Anyway, she beat her teacher's ass, and then they're on the ground, and she's like on top of her, and the teacher's telling like the students like, "Oh, get her off of me," But she definitely whooped her ass. But that was crazy, bro. Like,
I couldn't be me. I wouldn't like that. No, I wouldn't be a fan of that,
bad, bro. Like so it went viral. Anyways, the whole point was like it went viral, and a lot of people were saying like. some people were actually on the student side. They were saying that she was justified, which to me is crazy because rules are rules. Everybody know you shouldn't have your phone in school.
I mean, the internet, you're always going to find, there's like 8 billion people on the planet, so you're going to find people who agree with both sides at all times.
Right.
I can't see it, but like, maybe don't touch people's property. I don't know. There's always a way to avoid an ass whipping. I'm 31 years old and don't get my ass whipped on a regular basis. So like, I don't know. Maybe more people just need to be like me. But
be funny and chill.
Yeah, but I also devote a lot of my time and energy into comedy and sex. So I mean, avoid an ass whipping.
I believe she was like a 9th grader, so she was like 14. It wasn't like
she's not thinking about sex enough yet. Yeah, so if she just put her time into thinking about that,
she didn't start thinking about other stuff.
Wait, the 9th grader?
Yeah, later in life. Yeah. She got a couple more years before she could start really focusing, getting her numbers up. It's like those numbers is an amateur number.
But yeah, y'all go see that video when you get a chance. But go look it up. She really did beat that lady's ass. I felt bad for them. I was like, God damn.
Was it a black girl or a white girl?
It was 2. It was they both were black.
I hate seeing that. We gotta do better as a culture, y'all. We gotta do better. We gotta stop fighting in front of these white people.
Right.
Or in front of anyone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but mostly white people. Let's fight amongst ourselves. Let's fight behind closed doors. Yeah, let's just not fight.
Let's just fight at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah,
for real.
That part.
Yeah, for real.
We appreciate you for coming on.
I had so much fun. Thank y'all so much for having me. This was cool. I love kicking it with people. I feel like I'm just shooting shit with my boys, and that's what this felt like. So thank y'all so much.
For real. Thank you, man. We really appreciate that. And once again, shout out to you. You're busy, and we definitely wanted to showcase. We're trying to at least their local talent. And you're definitely on the rise, man. We wish you nothing but more success, bro. For real.
Appreciate that. What I got to do to get one of these matching watches that y'all all got?
We got you.
Cool. All right. It's like Rockaway, like when they get the chains away. Next time I come through, I'm gonna have one of these watches too.
The Rockaway chain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but man, appreciate you for coming on, man. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more interviews with you in the future.
Yeah, man. Y'all gotta come out to one of my shows. Next time
no doubt. Your next show will be there. Yeah,
cool.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
So good, James.
I was gonna ask you. We've been there. Yeah.
Have you ever headlined, or is it you just?
I headlined at the Improv. I haven't had my own show at the Improv, but I've done like showcases where I've been the feature or the headliner. But right now, I'm really just trying to navigate the stand-up culture. I'm going to be putting on my own shows now that the following and everything else is there. But I perform at the Improv regularly. I'm going to be at the Improv again on May 4th. We have a bunch of other shows that are coming up too. So
I know we're about to close out, but have you met any famous comedian?
Yeah. I've met Bill Bellamy. I've met Godfrey. I've met a couple of different people. I've opened for some like less famous to.
Have they given you any type of feedback, word of
yes and no. I've had some comments like they really like my set. I've had other like people like comment on my Instagram that have like a cult following. I've talked to Dayton Cook on Instagram before. But not to the levels that I want. Nothing like podcast story worthy yet. So I'll be really excited when Martin Lawrence messages me or like.
Are you a Cat Williams fan?
I like Cat. I like Cat a lot. Yeah,
that's my favorite comedian.
Yeah, Cat Williams' Pimp Chronicles Part 1 is one of the most quotable.
Classic.
Yeah. I think about this every day. It's not Pimp Chronicles, but he has another special where he's talking about like hitting on a girl at a bar and like you bought her a drink and then you try to talk to her outside of the bar and she's like, "What kind of girl do you think I am?" He was like, "I thought you were a whore. You were a whore over there. I assumed you'd be a whore over here."
Exactly.
I think about that every day. Like,
it's funny.
Sometimes I'll be like outside downtown, like that I bought a girl a drink, and they just be like looking at me, and they don't know that I'm like famous or like my videos are blowing up or anything. And I'm like, bitch.
Like if you only knew, you would be over here like you be buying me a drink. Like fuck.
I've actually had that happen where I was downtown, like just politicking, parking lot pimping, and I try to holler at a girl, and she'd be like, "No, like I'm chilling. It's a girls' night," and I'm like, "Oh, well, will you just follow me? Right. I need more followers on Instagram. I'm trying to like get this comedy thing off the ground." And then they follow me, and they see,
like, "Oh my god!"
and they're like, "Oh my god." I watch your videos all the time. You're hilarious. I watch your stuff. And I'm
Who's
like,
that guy?
it's like literally like the videos of like the dudes with the Ferraris. They find out you have the Ferrari.
The gold digger pranks.
Like,
the whole energy changes, and then I
shifts.
Then I swerve them.
That's how you do it, bro. For real. That's how you do it.
That's such an easy strap. I would just been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would have really just been like, okay, right.
Yeah. Unless you are a huge fan of my content.
It's head.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that guy from, but it still wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, well, you have like self-esteem and like pride in yourself. I hate dealing with girls like you. I would
general public.
Yeah, I would never date a girl like you. Like you believe in yourself and you hold yourself to like high standards and shit.
Exactly.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Like wanting children and believing in a nuclear culture. Like y'all are perfect for each other. Y'all are.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Come on, like,
y'all are gold.
Supermodel. Like,
y'all are black excellence. I hate
Idris Elba and Naomi Campbell. And she's talking to us about.
Y'all hold the pillars and tiers of what it means to be strong black people, and what I'm trying to do is fuck. So,
exactly.
So what I'm trying to do is fuck.
I'm just trying to smash and dash.
That's it, man.
This is just a character. This is a persona. Please do not take that seriously, ladies. If you're on my DMs, I love and respect women.
But yeah, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. We're gonna definitely, do some more things, things in the future, man. We wish you the best success, man. But we definitely, man, we're gonna close out. This is Touch on That. You guys already know. Follow us Instagram, YouTube at Touch on That Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe.
And we out, man.
We out. Touch on That.
Peace.
Tim.